didn't find the success they were hoping for against South Korea. Going up against another full stack of Overwatch League players, maybe you want to change things up as well and maybe expecting similar kind of compositions as you saw from South Korea.
Speaking of oppositions, take a look at Finland's side. In Finland, they're going to be going with that very heavy ground and pound strategy where it's not a 3-3, it's a straight up quad tank coming your way.
I do love me some quad tank, and I love it on especially Night Market. It's such a powerful spot for Hog. You have the potential to drop your opponents off the map, and those tanks can really stay together and get that maximum value from those AoE heals from Moira.
And the other thing here too is that it feels like Depp has a really hard road in front of him where he only has 2 effective pick targets here.
This is a major test for Depp. He needs to pick a support to justify his existence on Widowmaker.
Right now, doesn't really have the sightlines, goes back up. Meanwhile, Finland goes, yeah, we're actually just going to be here in the point. And look at how protected the supports are. Going to be very difficult to get a shot on Goose or the Moira from there.
Another number to watch here is Anakin's barrage charge. That barrage is a crucial way to break open these heavy tanks set up from Finland. So Anakin's barrage is something certainly to watch out for. Zappa is going to have to counterplay.
Yeah, Anakin has already done quite a bit of damage here so far. Finland, they've gotten the point, but your idea here is that Anakin said, oh, he's pulled on in! Taimu almost gets a full pick off. The Mercy heal, though, is there. He has the barrage. He's stuck on it. Drops the barrage, but he's completely shut down by Zappis. So that was the win condition for Japan, and just simply did not work out.
Zappis more than prepared. You see him with a completely full Matrix charge. That's such intelligence there. There's always an opportunity to use the Matrix, eat a few spam rockets, but Zappis elects not to. He just saves it, and when the barrage comes out, it's completely shut down. So great play by Zappis, and Taimu putting the pressure on, maybe urging Anakin to make a play before he was really ready.
And you're really seeing a mark of experience with this Finland team where they were avoiding poke and confrontation, but as soon as they got that first pick off, they immediately dove in.
Exactly, and things are looking a little bit rough for Japan here. The double support hold is so powerful in this quad tank composition. Taimu sneaking up on the flank. If he can take the Zen here, this could be major.
Oh man, Taimu channeling Harblue circa 2016, not gonna land the hook, and now he's really deep, almost at the other spawn, and actually Japan, they don't want to chase Taimu here. They want to go in on the point because they got Fraggy. They're gonna dive on in, Transcendence up, but you look at Linkser, holding on to the grab, waiting, doesn't want to donate it to the Diva, does connect, picks up 2, and the Coalescence gonna be beaming them right on through. The self-destructs to fall through, and Finland going to be holding on.
Perfect patience there from Linkser, constantly faking the call, and oh, the hook onto Depth shuts down that Tracer. Claire dropping low on the Valkyrie. Taimu's whole hog completely clearing the point here.
Yeah, Taimu at some point just walked his way back. It was a long walk. He missed the entire opening the fight, but man, cleanup was in his favor towards the very end. Finland able to take that, and now Japan almost out of time.
Certainly, Anakin's barrage has to find value here. At least this time he has Samurai D's barrage to, or excuse me, Samurai D's Primal Rage to at least split the opponents apart, maybe pull that Diva away. But Zappis has been so on point with shutting down these Pharah plays.
There's 2 things here. There's barrage and there's Fraggy with the Earth Shatter. Fraggy holding on to the Shatter right now, staying on the ground floor, gonna drop it, gets the Winston, pins him to the floor, and now Finland in a great spot. The barrage from Anakin doesn't do enough against the D-Mech, but they needed a lot more. Finland just too tanky on the point, too powerful, and Japan doesn't have the tools to remove them. Finland gonna be getting round 1.
Great round from Finland there. Nice shatter by Fraggy. He recognizes that Primal Rage is coming in, completely stuffs it, burns that Winston, completely stun locking him to death there. So nice quad tank play there. I love the positional movements from Finland. Taimu going for some very aggressive, risky flanks there, but getting away with it. It's so hard for Japan to punish those kind of movements without just giving up, 40 or 50 more % on the point. You're in a terrible double bind trying to chase a character like Roadhog back into your own spawn. Sometimes that can cost you even a player or 2.
Do you think that Japan should have swapped something up there, given that Finland was running the quad tank at the point, where was the Pharah going to be enough to actually get that moving?
We talked about Depp on the Widowmaker. He needs to pick those supports. That's what we see in the Overwatch League. We see these players like Carpe finding the Moira in completely absurd angles, and if Depp wants to play Widow in a composition like Quad Tank, he'll need to do the same.
All right, well, we're going over here to the Garden, and Finland goes, you know what? We're going to continue running Quad Tank right at you. It's the EU specialty, their own special dish. And Japan going to go in with the Pharah, but Depp not the Widow anymore, on the Tracer.
The Tracer's a little bit better here, but still so hard to execute against the Lucio and the Moira. Very difficult picks for a Tracer to find.
Finland, they've gotten the point, they've made it their home, and now they're waiting for Japan to drop on in. You see Samurai D lead the way, but they immediately punish him. They just focus the Winston every single time, and they just get rid of the opposing tanks, and it's very hard for Japan to deal with this right now.
Depp has been showing so much promise on the Widowmaker, but Finland playing a composition that just completely resists her strengths. And of course, Depp forced onto the Tracer, again, another very difficult character to execute. So Finland on this quad tank, really understanding Japan's weaknesses and focusing them now. Samurai D, though, I like the switch onto the Hammond. Could get a lot of value here, but he needs to dodge Taimu's hooks.
Yeah, it's a curveball rolling on in. We'll see what he can do to get the initiation here to really enable Anakin to come in with the barrage. Taimu goes for the hook, not going to connect. Japan biding their time. Transcendence is up, so they're going to engage with this here. They're waiting, biding their time. The Diva going to go in first, but Anakin is nowhere near the barrage here. Just needs a few more rockets.
Double support ulti here coming out from Finland. A lot of resources on the map. Japan needs to kite these, and they're doing a good job of it. No picks so far from the side of Finland.
Yeah, Finland just holding strong towards the back. Hook comes in. Self-destruct, though. Tags Big Goose. Barrage from the backhand side. Connects, and Japan finds their way on in. A minefield for good measure, and the Hammond pick actually kind of working out a bit here.
Exactly. Samurai D just constantly going behind, splitting those supports away, denying the resources to the tanks, and Taimu doesn't want to stick with the quad tank anymore, switches to the Sombra, a very natural counter to this Hammond, this Wrecking Ball. If you can hack him, take him out of his ball form, he's such an easy pick.
Meanwhile, though, Anakin just laying in rockets on the top. Do you think that Finland has the ability to kind of deal with Anakin here? He's getting a lot of value.
I mean, the struggle here is you basically have no ability to deal with the Pharah. Your only counterplay to Pharah is applying that point pressure, bringing her into a range that she just doesn't want to play.
Well, you know what? Anakin needs to learn from lessons. He has the high ground this time, and Finland goes, okay, you know what? Maybe this isn't the best spot to be in. Fraggy, though, staying on the ground. Has the Earth Shatter, holding back. Finland has put themselves back on the point. Fraggy, though, under pressure, almost getting chunked down early. Japan committing more. Graviton up from Finland, connects, and Samurai D is out of there. Zappos is self-destruct off the grab, does just enough.
Japan committing the Transcendence. They're trying to stay alive, but it just doesn't do anything against that incredible burst damage from Zappos self-destruct. Samurai D running for the hills here, but this is looking like too little too late for him. Taimu's counter pick on the Sombra really performing here. And now with the EMP and no counterplay on the side of Japan, that Trance just expended. This is a really rough recontest.
And we see the swap there immediately. Samurai D, he does not want any part of the Sombra. He's going to go over to the Winston.
Taimu setting up a perfect EMP here. Probably wants to wait until his team is a little closer to the fight. Sabagod notices the detection though. Oh, and Taimu just commits for a solo kill.
Yeah, so Taimu was like, I'm just going to EMP and take you out. I don't really care anymore. The rest of Finland, they jump on in. They make it a party. And Japan can't get started there. And now take a look at the game situation here. Finland at 80%, Japan at 52%. Japan might only have one more attempt at this.
Great understanding there from Finland, getting so aggressive on that EMP. We see how many more ultimates they build off of that team fight. So Taimu only doing a little bit of damage there, but his whole team farming all of their ults here. A lot to work with here for the side of Finland.
Taimu falling early. This is good for Japan. They have the 6-on-5 advantage. Anakin in the window, barrage locked and loaded. Trying to look at where Zappos is. Zappos goes into space. Defensive Matrix zone, not there anymore. Barrage ready. He's biding his time. Hasn't used it here just yet as Zappos continually oppressing Anakin out of the fight. But he's still waiting for the opportunity. Flared down. He's going to drop an SB2. Drops the barrage to the backhand side, and Zappos shuts him down.
Just waiting for an opportunity there, but not finding anything as Anakin. Finland looking to close out this map, looking very strong here. Links here with the nano boost, just fully energized here. Drops the Graviton, doesn't find anybody, but it might not matter here.
Yeah, Finland right now, they just need a little bit more. They're going to be dealing with Samurai D. He's primal raging on the point, trying to buy time, but they're at 99%. Emergency Wrecking Ball coming into the point. When you take a look at Finland, they have point dominance right now. Depp coming in, Depp goes down, and it's not enough. Finland going to get map number 1.
Finland, great resilience there, responding to the counterpick from Japan. We've seen Japan make some really smart swaps before, but Finland ready with the counterplay, not falling victim to it. Taimu ready to switch onto that Sombra, shutting down that Hammond, and we see the risk of running a Hammond is that you have no shields. There's no answers to Fraggy's Earth Shatter.
And we've also seen this evolving metagame, right? Where, yeah, I think in the very beginning for Wrecking Ball, teams looked at it and go, okay, how are we going to deal with this? And now just teams are comfortable going, we will actually just immediately swap to Sombra as soon as we see it because we don't want you to have the ability to just roll around as you please.
Certainly, that hack is such a dangerous risk. And on top of that, we see Taimu getting so much value just from scouting. His EMP picks off the Zenyatta very early in that fight, but the tanks just running right in. They know that without movement abilities, those Winston and D.Va on the side of Japan are just easy pickings for a Reinhardt.
Now, let me ask you this. Given the compositions that Finland was running there, we didn't really get to see a chance of Depp even bringing out the Widowmaker. Do you think this was smart by Finland to just sort of deny one of Japan's greatest strengths?
Yeah, in a sense, you don't want to just take that duel. Depp's shown so much competence in the Widow v Widow duel. If you're ready to play other compositions, just don't allow him to show his strengths. That can be an even stronger way to deal with a Widowmaker. If that Widowmaker is not ready to flex and play other different roles that counter your tankier compositions, then just stick with it. Force Depp out of his comfort zone, and if he can't continue to perform, it's going to be a real Achilles heel for Japan.
So Finland, of course, they came in with the super tanky setup. Do you think we're going to see that as we roll into other maps from here on out?
Well, we're going into a hybrid map type, so it's really up to Japan here. Do they want to force a really Widow-heavy map like, say, a Nimbani, which I don't think we've seen so far, so I'd love to see it. So it's really up to Japan to use this map choice to bring Depp back online. Maybe put on a map where Finland just can't dodge that Widow duel. But even then, there's a tough mountain to climb, and that mountain is named Linkser. Or maybe Taimu. You know, there's actually an incredible stack of Widow players on the side of Finland. We've seen all three of their DPS players put out really strong performances on the Widowmaker.
At least 2 middle mountains in Finland. But now let's take a look at the next map type. It's going to be Eichenwald on hybrid, and this actually makes a little bit of sense if you want to run a Widow.
Certainly, that second point is a really dominant Widowmaker map. We've seen a lot of teams fall to a Widowmaker that's on fire. So if Depp has the chance to warm up here and get hot, he could certainly take the game over, but you could say the same about Linkser and Taimu.
And of course, if you're wondering, well, what is a hybrid map? How do you play it? Let's take a look.
This is hybrid. 2 teams face off as either defenders or attackers. The attacking team has a limited amount of time to first capture a payload and then escort it along a set path containing 2 checkpoints. To capture the payload, the attackers need to stand within its range for a set amount of time. Defenders can delay capture progress by also standing in range. The attackers must work together to clear away the defenders. If successful, they score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The payload only moves forward when an attacker stands near it. Defenders can delay the payload's movement by standing nearby. To get moving again, the attackers must clear away the defenders by force. If even one attacker is capturing the objective or on the payload when the time runs out, the game enters overtime. This extends play indefinitely until the attackers are either cleared away or they gain more time by reaching a checkpoint. Every time the payload reaches a checkpoint, the attackers score 1 point and gain additional time on the clock. The round ends when the payload reaches the destination or when time runs out. Teams switch sides each round. Whichever team scores the most points and escorts the payload farthest wins.
Hey, is that a seagull? Is seagull in Korea? Is that what we're seeing there?
I don't know. I didn't catch the VOD there, but up to Twitch chat to re-inform me here. But we're going to Eichenwald here. This is just a gift for me, man. All of my favorite maps. Eichen, another one of the classics here. And Finland coming out with something very different here. Taimu on the Doomfist. Will he stick with this?
You know, I would like to see it happen. I'm not really convinced. Finland has probably been one of the more active teams, is trying to bait casters all weekend long. So, yeah, Taimu goes into the brink. Not really too big of a surprise there. So we'll probably be seeing Taimu come out here on be Hanzo, Widow, actually Farah. So defensive Farah going to be coming out here for Finland, and Fraggy looking awfully aggressive here early on.
Fraggy going with a classic play here, getting close to the enemy spawn. You can pick up those sound cues and get a read on Japan's composition before they even come out of the gates, showing his experience here in the Overwatch team.
And he's going to hop on back. Intel gathered, and now back to his team. Meanwhile, Japan coming out. They were showing the fire, but instead they're going to be coming out here with the Hanzo. Double sniper offense.
Definitely a good setup for Japan here. This double sniper is going to be difficult to oppose. It's up to Finland to get really aggressive with this Pharah and Tracer. If they can get over the top of the snipers, though, things could turn quickly.
Depp, of course, looking for the tank there. Gets a little bit of a dink, 24% towards the info site. Hops on over. Looking again. And he's just taking his time right now, and Finland is giving them a lot of space.
Yeah, this is what you have to do against the double sniper, but now they pull the trigger, getting aggressive on Depp, shutting him out of this angle. Such passive play from Finland, but they're just keeping Depp out of the angles he wants to play.
Oh, Finland, though, you take a look at Depp. He almost gets a fire. Taimu's down. Anakin got him from the other side. The double fold flank coming in from Japan, but the counter dives in from Finland. They strike on back. They punish Japan, and even though they lose someone here, it might not be the worst for Japan as respawns come in. They get Big Goose at the backside. It's actually turned out quite well. Kenmo on the point, buying space for his team right now. Samurai D low, but still in it. And And now response for Japan coming in. Finland has been caught off guard.
Kenmo, though, overextending a little bit. Might get punished here. No, escapes in the Pilot Diva form. He's going to be able to get remake here on point. Nice take from Japan. I love the double angle setup from their snipers. Finland maybe looking for a final recontest, but too little too late here. Zappas getting demagged and finished off.
I gotta say, when you're a Pharah in that situation, and you're worrying about the Widow first and foremost, how difficult is it to keep tabs on both snipers at the same time?
Well, Japan really just playing that composition perfectly, getting a double angle setup. We saw Deb getting some free shots on Taimu, but that was because Anakin is pressuring him from the other angle. There's really nowhere for Taimu to hide. He just has to pick his poison. And in that case, he was just taking fire from both snipers at the same time. So kind of a worst case scenario for Taimu. He wants to go onto the Widowmaker and just take these duels straight up.
You see Deb right now using the infra side. Finds the Diva, and not in the great way. You see Zappas pressuring him back. He was going for the flank. Meanwhile, Linkser deep in, connects on the depth. He got pressured back right into the pulse bomb as Finland now starting to move towards a payload and get a good defense right here outside the gate. And we oftentimes see defenses invest a lot here as both Transcendences come out.
Very similar timing on the Transcendences. I think this might be a wash here, but Finland getting a good close setup on the gates. Linkser getting a ton of damage on Samurai D. He's got to get out of here, but no, too much pressure from Taimu.
Yeah, Taimu finishes off what Linkser was starting, and Finland just in a good spot right now. And why do you see teams go so aggressive at this point of Micro?
Well, with Japan running this double sniper setup, it's up to Finland to stuff them in the doorways. You can't be letting them onto their high ground positions for free, and I love this positioning by Linkser. I think he's going to get behind and threaten this Zenyatta potentially.
All right, Japan now getting onto the payload. Meanwhile, Linkser, he's secret agent Linkser right now. Going to the back, doesn't even care about the Mercy. Going for the Hanzo, pressuring on the backhand side. And Claire down already. Fraggy diving in off of Linkser's distraction. He's not done yet. Has 2 here so far. The Primal Rage just giving him so much room to work with. Japan pushed back.
Great discipline here from Finland. They know how to play versus this double sniper composition. Anakin, recognizing he's getting shut down, is going to make the switch over to the Genji. Maybe try to oppose Taimu a little bit more, give Depth some space, just as Linkser is doing for his team.
And it's been a nice duo play between Taimu and Linkser, where Linkser is constantly forcing people to look back, and while they're looking at Linkser, they're not looking at Taimu.
And Japan making the full swap onto Genji Tracer dive. Linkser is going to have free range here in the backline. No more one-shots to worry about.
Linkser immediately going in right behind, 24%.
Puts a ton of pressure on the supports, though, forces them out. Now the tanks are going to be a little bit starved on the side of Japan.
Yeah, Finland, they were just able to back up a little bit, where they go back, they give room. Linkser hasn't taken any crazy risks here so far. They're more, oh, Samurai D just focused down immediately. Couldn't even finish the leap. Self-destruct from Japan doesn't get anything, and that initiation completely stuffed by Finland.
And we've seen this Genji Tracer composition fall out of popularity in the current meta because it is so difficult to execute. Simply surviving is enough for the defense. Eventually, Taimu will produce. So we're really just waiting on Anakin's Dragon Blade here, and really with not much charge to show for that fight. He's got to build this quick to get the cart moving. Only 2 minutes on the clock here.
Is that the main victory condition for Japan, given the time that is left?
Unless you can just get dash resets without the ultimate, really the mark of a top Genji, it's really going to rely on the Dragon Blade here. Japan not committing their support ults. It seems like they want to wait for something, and the Dragon Blade potentially that.
Linkser almost uncontested here. No one's still looking at him, going for the Zen, and is the fall through going to be there? Gets the stick, and oh, doesn't quite get the rest part of it. Taimu, though, got Samurai D on the other end. Enough tank damage has been done in the moment, and Finland continuing to discombobulate Japan before they can get a good engage. Japan uses the Transcend there, but they're already down people, and it seems like falling.
Linkser and Fraggy going very deep for the backline here, but there's just no punish from the side of Japan. Linkser and Fraggy completely uncontested. Anakin committing the Dragon Blade, but the trans from Shaz completely shutting it down.
Anakin's blade just unable to get anything because of that Transcendence, and now the blade is down. Depth, though, finally shuts down Linkser. He's been a permanent fixture in the backline, and now Japan can finally look forward. They don't have to worry about the Tracer in the back. But time no longer on their side. Only 1:15 left. Pulse bomb out from Depth, and a quick dodge by Taimu.
Japan, though, needs to convert quickly. Linkser will be coming back soon. Shaz turns things the other way, takes down Depth. Shaz is going to be uncontested here in this long sideline alongside Taimu and his Mercy.
Linkser connects on the Sabagon from the back, comes back into the fight, and now he's going to be building up 4 charge on the tank. Samurai D and Kenmo really nowhere to go here. And Samurai D used the Primal Rage there. That seems like a bit of a mistake.
Yeah, great evasion there from Bigus, managing to survive in that intense melee. But you can see how powerful this positioning is from Taimu and his supports. Sitting in that long sideline, he forces that over-aggression out of Japan. They have to shut him down. They know they can't just let Taimu take their heads.
Well, Taimu, he's certainly on that head hunt once more. Oh, he almost got Brigida. That was real close.
Great plays from Taimu, applying so much pressure here. This is such a nuisance to deal with. Constantly being sniped, you're always scared to peek angles. One pick could just completely shut your push down now that Japan is off of Mercy.
Well, speaking of ways that Japan might be able to do something here, they do have Anakin with the blade. It's going to be the final opportunity. Pulse bomb out from Linkser. Saba already down. They won't have the nano blade. They won't even have a blade at all. The Autumn was first. The Genji was second. Finland continually getting in Japan's face before they can even begin.
Looks like just cleanup here if Kenmo cannot remake. A lot of pressure coming in, but maybe being able to slow things down here are Finland. The Transcendence coming in. There's just no damage left for the side of Japan.
Anakin finally coming out the blade. Better late than never, I suppose, but Finland just able to get out of his way. Anakin falls to Taimu, got the snipe angle on the other end, and Zappis with the bomb just makes enough space. It's dominating for Finland right now, absolutely dominating, and Japan not going to have enough to push this any further. It's a second-point hold coming out from the Finns.
Finland just showing their incredible experience there. You saw how long some of those fights were taking, even when no kills were going either way, or that one fight where Linkser dropped early to depth. We saw that patience from Finland. They understand that they don't need to make a move, that still, even down 5v6, it's Japan that's forced to dive aggressively on the Widowmaker. It's all smiles from the side of Finland, and I understand why. Losing first that quickly and then completely stuffing the momentum of Japan, this is a crushing defeat for Japan. At least they cap first point. They've got a chance to win Eichenwald.
One of the key standouts there for me is that how disheartening is it for you as a team when you have a Tracer in your backlines that is seemingly immortal, where Linkser fell very few times there and he was constantly very deep as a Tracer, and it felt like Japan as a result was never able to get a good initiation.
I mean, this is the mark of an Overwatch League level team. They're going to constantly punish you for your misplays. We saw even when Japan gets onto the Brigade, Linkser is still fearless. He's right there in the back line, constantly pressuring the tanks, and you saw how starved and pressured those tanks were on the side of Japan. A lot of times dying before even landing from their initial jumps. That's devastating if you are the Japanese team here. But that just comes from the amount of pressure Finland's applying. They're never allowing Japan to, set up and really get the kind of plays that they want to make with this Genji Tracer.
So we flip sides here, and of course, this is a tough road for Japan to climb if they want to actually get back into this. So let me ask you here, when you're looking for a first point hold on Eichenwald, is this the type of setup that you want to go with?
I'm certainly very surprised to see the Lucio here, an older style composition. It's going to be all up to Sabagod to stay alive. If he gets picked, that's going to be probably the end of first point. The rollout from spawn so long for Zenyatta.
Not only that, but because they're running Lucio here, they don't have the Mercy in tow, which means that Anakin, if he gets picked off even once, there's no second lives here. And at some point, I feel like Afara, even when you're playing really well, you're going to get dinked at some point.
Another major risk here is that because Finland is running the Mercy and the Zenyatta, if they can land the Discord on Anakin and at the same time damage boost Taimu, that's a one-shot on the enemy Pharah. Very hard to deal with, especially without a Mercy's help.
Finland looking for the way in right now. Of course, time very much on their side. Linkser takes a little bit of a rocket, glancing damage, and a little bit more. Gonna go back, grab the health pack, saves the rewind.
Yeah, great patience from Linkser. Understands how he needs to push his character to the limit here. Depp getting aggressive, but Linkser already in his face, putting some damage on, maybe weakening that aggression a little.
And now Finland, they seize the opportunity. Sabagod a little bit out of position. Fraggy able to take him down, but while Japan was doing that, they dove in on Finland. But here's the issue. Because there's no Mercy, they can't bring Sabagod back up. What would normally just be a quick bump in the road is now something that Finland can come back in, potentially with an advantage. They've actually sent Claire all the way back to spawn to bring the Zenyatta back earlier.
Claire, exactly, forced to taxi Sabagod, but the question is, can Finland press their advantage? They have this momentary player advantage on point. It's really up to Taimu to get in Anakin's face and stuff this enemy Pharah.
Anakin, the rocket, doesn't quite get able to finish it off. Goes back to the other side, looking. RB Farah, Taimu pressuring. Anakin having to back off. Meanwhile, though, the Japan dive goes in. They get Shaz early. Both Zenyatta's out of the fight. Depp on the Zappis, and Japan isn't doing bad, but they need to get back over to the point. They overdove. They need to come back over and in. They've already almost given up a tick, and the problem is they've lost so many people that Finland reinforcements are going to be coming in soon.
Zen and Pharah both down. There's no one left to oppose Taimu, but the frags are coming in on the low ground. Taimu dropping low, forced back by the tanks of Japan, but Samurai D getting very aggressive. He might be punished for that.
Samurai D in a rough spot. Depp connects on the Taimu. The pulse bomb takes him out, and Depp, who's been doing so much work, picked off by Shaz. Shaz immediately gets picked off, goes for the Transcendence. Japan going to be countering with the barrier. Samurai D close to primal range, holding it on in. Self-destruct gets Taimu, and Japan continues to hold on.
A very scrappy fight here, but the Transcendence from Sabagod may be the trump card in this fight. Tank still available for Finland, though. They can sustain.
Japan starting to fall. Finland, they might have crossed the threshold of doing enough damage here. Anakin, last-ditch barrage going into the back, gets one, but it simply wasn't enough. And as a result, Finland now getting onto the point, and they should be able to flip this to their favor.
Great defense by Japan, but it's going to be rough to try and defend second here. I wonder if they'll go for a last-second recontest, but it just looks so grim. There's not much to work with in the ultimate bank, and so little card progress on second point. Things are looking tough for Japan here.
Yeah, and for Japan, they're going to have to hold for about 3-4 minutes towards the very end.
Fight first point,
they're
though.
delaying first, and they actually got time off Saba, so there is a small chance they're investing a whole lot into it. This could be great if it works, but the problem is you don't have positioning. They're getting punished as they move in. Zappis flips Anakin's wings, and it's a last-moment stall from Japan. And I don't know if it's worth it, because take a look at Finland. They're not looking very charged on ultimates.
Certainly a massive risk there from Japan, not paying off, but I do like it a little, especially with Taimu overextending, dying there on second point. You have to take the risk here, because now it's looking incredibly difficult to hold second point, but really losing first at all was kind of a worst-case scenario for Japan. Holding second this close to the door is really difficult to do.
Yeah, they're going to have to do it for 3 minutes here, which is certainly easier said than done, but they're going to be swapping to the Brigida just to get a little bit more containment onto Linkser, if nothing else.
One of the struggles here is that Ana, with such limited mobility, might be punished by a Diva Bomb, but Linkser finds depth. No more Widowmaker for Taimu to worry about. He goes up behind, makes a massive distraction for his team.
Well, and you see here that Taimu's going to be far more aggressive when the Widow's out of play. He doesn't have to worry about getting picked off, and overall, Finland just diving recklessly in. Taimu drops a barrage. That's how little he cares here as Linkser gets cleaned up in the back.
Excess ultimates as Finland finishes the point here. Very clean defense, or excuse me, offense.
Yeah, Finland, they really did not have to go too far there. And Japan, they lost their best chance to bring it back up the first time. That's quite a cosplay.
Certainly something here, and great plays from Finland. They favor the Mercy as well, and it's paying off for them. We see how powerful this resurrection is. You know, the ability to sort of erase one mistake, a mulligan, as we say, can turn fights. You know, a lot of these times where Japan was forced to retreat, taxi their players from spawn, they lost that initial position on the choke. And in defending Eichenwald first, when you lose the choke, you lose the major advantage of defense.
Out of curiosity, why do you think we've seen so many teams kind of shy away from running the Mercy compared to what we've seen in the past?
It's certainly surprising for me to see. Mercy is still a very strong character, in my opinion, but Japan may be feeling that playing to their strengths is more important than playing the metagame, and I can't disagree with them. That's been an effective strategy in the past in the World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the metagame, of course, is always in flux, but it is weird when you look at those first points when if you lose even one person, the resurrection can be good in just keeping defensive momentum versus the, as we saw there, the run back. Running back and ferrying someone over, not quite as effective as just bringing him back from the dead.
Exactly. Japan did get a ton of value, more than I would have expected out of that Lucio. We saw how many of those super aggressive speed boost and assisted initiations on the low ground ended up wiping Finland for the first 2 fights there on defense. So it certainly was paying off for them on that first point hold, but not able to close it out there. You know, that's the power of Mercy, really, that you have that staying power. And of course, that Valkyrie can close out a lot of questionable fights.
All right, guys. Well, to give us a little bit more insights to this match, we got Golden Boy down on the floor.
All right, so Golden Boy down here at the main stage with Tayo from Team Japan. Now, Team Japan, fortunately, down 0-2 here. You know, still, you can still bounce back and get a win regardless. What were, I guess, the strategy? What was the strategy, I should say, coming into this matchup, knowing that Team Finland had a lot of great players on their lineup?
So we have like team preparation for like 2 months because we're like the same team. So we should have had more strategies going in, like counter strategies, but we just couldn't play what we were really used to. So we like kind of tried to switch it up, but that didn't work out.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I mean, you know, your team, Cyclops, I believe, a very dominant squad in the Pacific region. You know, you guys watch the Overwatch League, I'm sure. All the players on that Team Finland roster are from the Overwatch League. Were you expecting, I guess, the strategies that they were bringing to the table? Did you think that what you played in Pacific Contenders would work here against these players?
So we knew that they were going to have like a very tank-heavy lineup. So we were trying to counter-strat that, but just didn't work out. So
No.
yeah.
It didn't work out the way he wanted it to. And, you know, makes perfect sense. But now going into maps 3 and 4, still though, opportunity for you guys to get a win regardless here against Finland, which can spell doom for them moving forward here. And assuming you guys are going to play hard because you're going in the game as well. I guess, you know, what are some of the things that now that you're going to be subbed in here, you are looking to impact in this game?
I just need to like command my team more and make them move easier so Deb can actually click some heads.
Need depth to click the heads. I too couldn't agree more, my man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. This is Ty from Team Japan. When we come back, maps 3 and 4. Can Japan bounce back, or will Finland close it out? See you on the other side.